everyone, welcome to Dumb Guys Talk About Fantasy Baseball. In this episode, we're going to be talking about our sleeper pitchers. So, don't forget to give us a like in this video, comment below, and obviously you got to subscribe so that we can help you win your fantasy baseball league. We're going to be releasing 2 videos per week on Wednesdays and on Sundays.
That's in addition to the Brazilian videos my wife and I do every Saturday morning. We do Brazilian food and we do some vlogs.
That's right, and I have a new segment that I'm putting together as well, which is going to be coming soon, so stay tuned to that. But now, let's talk about fantasy baseball. So,
right.
Heath, why don't you get us started?
So the first pitcher I've got is Jose Berrios. He's on the Twins. He had a nice season last year, I think about 14 wins. I got some stats here. He had a nice low ERA, good strikeouts per 9, and he's young enough to where I think he could go even higher. And if you got a moment, go look him up on YouTube because there's some really cool-looking videos with his slider, and it's just how much it breaks. It looks almost like a wiffle ball slider.
Oh, nice.
So I think his minor stacks look good. He's a former first-round pick. All signs, I think, are to him being a future ace, and I think he's right at that point to where it could be this year.
Yeah. Now, he pitches for the Twins, right?
Yes, the Twins.
And where is he going in the draft?
He's 108 ESPN, 123 on Fantasy Pros.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I had him actually on my list, and I actually deleted him. But he is a guy that I like. He's a guy that I think will have a good season, and he's a great option in the middle to later rounds.
He is, yeah.
Okay, so my list here. And we call these sleepers. I mean, obviously, you heard of Berrios.
Yeah.
You're going to hear of all these guys. But really what my goal is to give you guys that I think there's some value in where they're falling in the draft.
Yeah, it's just people are drafting them too low. And we think next year they're probably going to be drafted higher than they're going this year. Yeah, and they're going to have a season worthy of maybe a couple rounds ahead. So the first guy on my list is Marcus Stroman. And he's ranked 73 on ESPN. I didn't look at the other list you were looking at, but 8th round. That's getting down there. But he's a young guy. Last year he was 4th in ERA in the American League. And what I did was I compared him to another guy that was ranked 2 rounds ahead of him, and that was Chris Archer. And they were very even on most of their stats, except for Stroman had a whole run less ERA. And Archer had more strikeouts. Yeah. But they were pretty even, and Archer was going 2 rounds ahead of him, and I thought Stroman was probably worthy of being somewhere around Archer. So, like I said, the only downfall with Stroman is the strikeouts. Yeah, definitely. Now, let's move on to somebody from the Giants, because I got flack for not having enough Giants in our early video. So this is Chris Stratton. Now, he's projected to be the Giants' number 4 starter. Now, if you look at his overall stats from last year, I believe he's around a 3.40, 3.60 ERA. He had, a decent 1-loss record, about 8 strikeouts per 9 innings. But his last 10 starts was about a 2.50, 2.40 ERA, right in that range. And so he really put it together after a couple rough starts. And he was a former first-round pick. He had some great years in the minors. The Giants have been high on him for a while, and they spent their money in outfielders instead of pitchers because of their confidence in young guys like this. So watch this guy. I think he'll break out. Another guy, just to kind of throw in as a bonus, is watch Tyler Beede. I don't think he'll start the year in the majors, so I'm not giving him his own category. But I think the Giants will eventually call him up, and he has an even higher ceiling. I've heard some people compare his stuff to Corey Kluber.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But it might be a year too early, but keep an eye on it.
Now, is Stratton ranked?
He is not ranked. He's
not
very
ranked.
low. So this is the type of guy that you could even end your draft not getting him and then look at picking him up if you think your pitching's too thin.
Yeah, or your last pick. That's what I like to do sometimes, save that guy who's not ranked. Yeah. And, I pick him up as my 22nd pick or whatever, last pick of the draft, just to put him on my bench. Okay, I like that. So the next guy I want to talk about, obviously everybody knows who Jake Arrieta is. Yeah. But again, this is a guy who is just a couple years removed from a Cy Young. 2017 wasn't his best season, and that's probably why he's down in the rankings. But he did have a great July and August before he went down in September last year with a hamstring injury. But there's some question marks here for Arrieta. He doesn't have a team yet, right? And that could change things.
At least at the time of this recording.
Yeah, at the time of this recording. Who knows what's going to happen in a couple days when this goes up. But he doesn't have a team right now, so who knows. But I just think that this guy has a lot more value than an 8th, 9th round guy, considering the talent that we've seen out of him.
Yeah, the Cubs are Well, he's not on the Cubs anymore. He's not on the Cubs. I don't think he will go back to the Cubs either.
I doubt it.
Yeah. And I think Yu Darvish has to come off the board before teams will look at him. But look for what team he goes to. I think that will make a big difference.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, so now I've got another young guy, which I think you're seeing the pattern here is I like young pitchers because I think pitchers have a shorter career arc than hitters. And so I think you don't want to pick pitchers up too late when they're on the downside, when they've already worn out their arm. And so here's another young guy. It's Luis Castillo on the Reds. Mm-hmm. ESPN ranks him 183, Fantasy Pros 172. He was 8th in Rookie of the Year last year. And in only 89 innings, he had 98 strikeouts, a 3.12 ERA, a 1.75 WHIP, and he's only 25 years old.
1.075.
1.075. Yeah, sorry, 1.75 would have been pretty poor. Yeah. Sorry. And he was great throughout the minors, so all along, people have been high on him, and he showed some of that potential. And what you'll find a lot of times is a pitcher that comes up, shows a good, maybe not quite full season yet. A lot of times the next year he really breaks out. Look at some guys like Noah Syndergaard, Jacob deGrom, Tim Lincecum. Severino, I think, is another guy that had a similar kind of arc to where they come up, you see a nice sample size, then the next year they're lights out.
Yeah.
And I think that you might be seeing this. The only thing is the Reds didn't win very many games last year, so he might not win that many games, but all the other stats I think will be great.
Are the Reds going to be any better this year?
I haven't heard them make any moves. They let Zach Kozar go.
And didn't they let someone else go? I thought they let someone else go. Maybe.
They were looking at trading Billy Hamilton, but they still have.
Yeah, that's right.
But they have some good hitters. It's kind of interesting that even their good pitchers didn't get good results. Yeah, they got Votto, Adam Duvall, Scooter Gennett. Yes. I think those are some good hitters.
Right, yeah, okay.
So maybe he will get wins. Maybe he'll be the one guy that they give the run support to.
Right, yeah, and I like young pitchers as well because first of all they haven't worn their arm out, and that's the big worry with pitchers is are they going to be injured? Mm-hmm. I know that's a big thing I look at. Okay, so the next guy on my list here, Gio Gonzalez. This is a guy I had on my team quite a bit last year. He came in 6th in the National League Cy Young voting last year. He's all the way down at 103 ESPN ranking. So that's around the 10th or 11th round. 5th in ERA, 11th in strikeouts, 7th in WHIP last year. He's going 5 rounds after Robbie Ray, who was just ahead of him in most of those stats, except for strikeouts again, because Robbie Ray had many more strikeouts than him. But it's two guys where they were pretty comparable, except for that one stat, and you're talking about a 5-round difference. So I like Robbie Ray, but I like Gio Gonzalez 5 rounds later for value.
Yeah. Now, I didn't have Gio at all last year, but I've had him a couple times in the past, and I know it can be streaky, so watch those streaks. Be willing to take him out of your lineup if he's in a bad stretch.
Yeah, that's usually how I play my pitching. It's it's matchups,
Yep, all right, so on to mine, another young guy, surprise, surprise, and one of the first of the 2 pitchers I picked up for the Rays. This one's Jake Arrieta, if that's how you pronounce his name. He's 199 ESPN, 256 Fantasy Pros, so way down there. He had amazing minor league stats. He had one season in the minors where he's 17-4 with a 192 ERA and 9.6 strikeouts per 9 innings. He had a good call-up last year. He had 14 starts in the majors and 11 more in the minors. And between the two, he was pretty lights out. In the majors, he was 5-4, 3.43 ERA, and 8.7 strikeouts per 9. So for a young guy that just came up, that's great. And it's another whole. He had some time in the majors, had a nice sample size, might be ready to break out next year.
I had that guy on my list as well, and I took him off.
Interesting. I got your rejects.
You got my rejects. Okay, yeah, nice guy to look at there. Okay, the next guy on my list is Sonny Gray, ranked 124, and you'll notice that my ranks get higher and higher as I go, because I like to start with the low ones and go up to the high ones. So you'll start seeing my young guys towards the end of this list. But Sonny Gray at 124 got traded to the Yankees mid-season last year, had some pretty dominant months, not lights out through the entire season, but I think he showed a lot of talent through the season, and the Yankees are going to give him a lot of opportunities to win. He's going to get a full season there, and he's got a decent strikeout per 9 at 8.5. He was 9th in WHIP, 10th in ERA last year, so still ended pretty decent. So I think that's pretty good guy for 13th round.
Nice. Yeah, I had Sonny Gray for a while last year. Maybe he was just ready to move on from the A's because he wasn't that great while he's still in the A's. He had a terrible year. I know he started great. So let's see if the Yankees can, do anything with him.
Through July and August last year, he was pretty hot, and then he got hurt, and then he kind of slowed down a little bit when he got back.
And talking about guys that got cut, I don't think I have him on here, but John Gray is a guy I consider for this list as well. So just to throw a bonus name out there.
The Grays.
The Grays, yep.
Nice.
All right, so now might be the oldest guy I've got on my list. It's Dallas Keuchel. Now, I think this guy is a point of debate because he had that amazing Cy Young Award year, 2015. 2016 went down, and that was the year I had him, so I wasn't that happy with that. But you could argue that was kind of injury-driven. You could see the number of starts he had wasn't that much. He missed a few starts. And sometimes, just an injury messes up a guy's career year.
Yeah, right.
And then last year...
Gets him out of the group.
Yeah. And then last year, he started the year out 9-0 with an ERA under 2, then got hurt. And then when he came back, he wasn't nearly as good.
Yeah.
But he still had a good year. I believe it was like 14 wins, 290 ERA.
He was total. Good, yeah.
So you could say if this guy's healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in the majors. But his injury risk has really knocked him down these rankings. ESPN has him 119. Fantasy Pros has him a little higher at 79. And some of the guys I saw ranked above him were Garrett Cole, Tanaka, Gio Gonzalez, if you got on your list, Danny Duffy, John Lester, Jimmy Nelson, Rich Hill. And all those pitchers, you could debate that if Keuchel's healthy, he'd be much better
than him. Yes. Yeah.
So, and also another thing I saw about lists is Strasburg's like about 29 Strasburg's about 29 and Syndergaard's about 31. Those guys are similar injury risk. Although their strikeout high is higher than Keuchel.
Yeah.
That's a 29th overall pick and 31st overall pick is a huge risk for an injury risk.
Right.
And I think if you're going to take an injury risk, go 119 with Keuchel.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. And so I'm just saying, I don't overlook this guy because he's way down the rankings.
It sounds like you're taking your own advice here as well and not holding a grudge against him because you had him the year before.
Yeah, so we talked about that in our video, Learning from Previous Drafts. So check that out as well, about learning to not hold grudges for guys that didn't work out for you one year.
We're very wisdomist, so watch our videos.
Wisdom-issy.
Yes. Okay, next guy on my list. This is a guy who I also picked up last year, and he was kind of streaky as well. He was kind of one of those guys that was mix and match, but he's at 143 ESPN rankings. That's Dylan Bundy for the Orioles. And the one thing I wanted to highlight here was his August 2017 numbers. 4-0, 2.0 ERA, 11.3 strikeouts per 9, a .806 whip. Obviously, this guy's got some talent. If he could put it together for an entire season, be huge value this low in the draft.
Nice. So you think that guy has the talent to sustain that for a full season?
I don't know if he does, but he obviously has the talent to sustain it in a month. So if there's talent there, there's a possibility. And again, this guy kind of was salvaged my season last year when I picked him up and stuck him in my lineup somewhere in the middle of the season. And in August, he really helped me out for sure.
Nice. All right, so interesting. I have another Astro here, and just to throw out, I have another Astro that is on my bust list, which is a video that will come out in about 3 weeks, I think. But the one I've got here on my sleepers list is Lance McCullers. Now, I think you guys probably know about him. He's 126 ESPN, 98 Fantasy Pros. He had about 10 strikeouts per 9 last year. He has great stuff. I believe he was amazing up until the All-Star break, then kind of fell off a little bit with some injuries. But what if he puts it all together on a great Astros team this year? And I think the Astros, even though they kind of have a hitter-friendly park, it seems like their system generates good pitchers.
Yeah.
So let's see where you can go. Down this low, I don't think it's that huge of a risk.
Yeah, I think he's a good option for a late, middle of your order kind of guy.
Yeah.
10 strikeouts per 9 is nice, and the Astros are going to win a lot of games, and he's going to have a lot of opportunities. They're going to put runs on the board for him, so wins could be there. All right, next guy on my list, jumping all the way to, I'm going 152 right now, and in honor of Heath, I picked a giant here, and that's Jeff Samardzija, and I think he had a really down year last year, and I think the Giants were really bad and just all around not very good. But this is a guy who's had 190 plus strikeouts 5 years in a row. Top 10 in WHIP last year. And San Francisco is going to be better, right? You can account for that. They're going to be better. They made some moves. They've got Evan Longoria. They've got McCutchen, who's actually probably going to go on my bust list, but you'll find out. And just because he went to the Giants. And I think they're going to have some better defense in the outfield. That's going to benefit Samardzija. And you told me this. He's a fly ball pitcher, and they need someone in center field to bring those balls in.
Yeah, because people that really break down stats, Jeff Samardzija was very confusing to them because his strikeout rate was amazing, his walk rate was amazing, strikeout to walk, of course, was amazing, but he had an ERA over 4 and 15 losses.
Yeah.
And I think that is a testament to how much defense can help a pitcher out, because Denard Span was by far the worst defensive outfielder in the game last year. The Giants have a big outfield, so I think a lot of stuff was dropping in that was hurting Samardzija's stats.
Yeah.
So let's see how they do with a better outfield. The Giants might not even be done, but right now I think Austin Jackson is a huge improvement, and they might get more. Yeah. And plus more runs support potential.
Right. And so value for pick. Value for pick there.
Yeah. All right, so my next guy is actually somebody that people had high last year. I think that maybe he didn't quite live up to your expectations if you were super high on him. That's Aaron Nola. ESPN ranks him 90th, Fantasy Pros 80th. He's got ace-type talent. And I think the Phillies are going to really look to contend. They got some money. They're starting to spend it. They got Santana. Reese Hoskins, everybody's high on him. Maikel Franco at third, who I think will continue to improve.
They're getting young.
Yeah, they're getting young, and they've got some money to spend. And I think they'll start contending. And a lot of times the team that starts contending, their ace pitcher really benefits a lot from the support around him.
Absolutely.
And so I think this guy's got nice talent. 9.9 strikeouts per 9 last year, so he could get you the strikeouts. I think he can lower his 3.54 ERA. It's just that whole, are you high on this young guy to improve?
Right. Yeah. Good options. Good options there. Okay. Now for my next pick, we're going to go to pick 187 or draft number 187, and that's Garrett Richards. And this guy obviously has a lot of talent. We've seen a lot of good years out of him. But he's been hampered by injury.
Yeah, he has.
2 years in a row, he's only had 6 starts. But in those 6 starts each year, but in those 12 starts, he's got a sub 250 ERA. This guy, if he's out there pitching, he's got ace stuff. The Angels, I think, are ready to compete. So, he's going to have opportunities to win games. He's going to get some run support. They got a lot of offense there now. Yeah. So I think this guy, obviously the Angels weren't worried about the injuries. They brought him back. I think they gave him a 1-year contract. So this is a guy to keep an eye on, especially going as deep as 187.
Yeah, and this is a guy I picked up twice and been burned by his injuries in the past. But don't hold that grudge. If you think he can be healthy, if you're reading his injury reports, if he's looking good in spring training, all that, maybe take a look at him.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was just a couple of years ago, he had a good full season of pitching.
Yeah. So. All right, now I actually picked up a closer. When I go into drafts, the position I'm usually most unprepared on is closer.
Yeah.
That's when I scramble on typically. But so I want to find a sleeper one just for my own benefit so I don't panic when I feel like I've missed the closer window. And that's Brad Hand. He's the closer on the Padres. He's 198 in ESPN, 169 on Fantasy Pros. He seems to really fit the mold that a lot of other relief pitchers have become good in, is they kind of tinkered around as a starter, got changed to the relief pitcher, and just took off. Like Dennis Eckersley was like that. Dave Righetti was like that. Joe Nathan was like that. Some great... And this guy had a crazy high strikeout rate, 11 per 9. He tore it up in all the saving opportunities he's got. The only thing I could say is, will the Padres give him lots of save opportunities? Will he be kind of like... the guy that was closing for the Cubs last year, who was on my team. I'm always bad with names.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But he was great on all his other stats, but just the Cubs didn't give him lots of save opportunities. But if you're okay with like a relief pitcher helping you win strikeouts, this guy will definitely do that. And we'll see if the Padres give him enough save opportunities. They might go get some people to help out their offense.
I'm with you. I've been terrible with closers. And last year, I think the closer I drafted, I dropped him at the beginning of the year and ended up picking a guy off the bench or waiver wires. So.
Yeah, I had Herrera on the Royals last year, and he's a huge letdown for me.
Yeah, so, all right, I'm going to keep that guy in mind because I might swoop him up from under you. We'll see. Okay, moving on my list, my number 8 guy ranked all the way down at 197 on ESPN list. It's a guy you all know, David Price. Now, this guy was starting the season hurt last year, right?
Yeah.
So I remember we were talking about him, and people were saying, well, take a chance on him because when he comes back, he's going to be strong. Well, I think he had a rough go about it. He wasn't that bad, though. They had him. They were moving him from the rotation, and he spent some time in the bullpen. But he still, what did this guy, I guess I didn't put down his stats last year, but they weren't that bad if you go look at him. He just didn't pitch a whole season. But He's got a lifetime 3.22 ERA. He averages 216 strikeouts every 162 games. So this guy is he's really good. He wins games 15 to 18 games won 3 seasons in a row before last season. And we know the Red Sox are going to be good. We know they're going to go out and put a good team out there. I think they're going to boost it up. Their offense. Probably going to get JD Martinez. That's what everybody says, but we'll find out. But I think going that far down, he is worth putting on your. Last year, I think it was like 5th round or something. This year, he could be your last pick or one, second to last pick, and you can put him on your bench. So I think David Price. We know he's got ace stuff.
Yeah,
he's a guy that you can take a chance on.
Yeah, and I think some people will counter like he ended the year in the bullpen. What will his role be? So definitely, when you're looking at a guy like this, watch spring training.
Yeah,
see what the team's doing.
Absolutely, with him. Absolutely.
So another guy I got on my list is someone I had last year. I dropped him way too early. He rebounded after I dropped him. That's Kyle Hendricks. He's ranked number 1 on ESPN.
100.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah,
not
he's
1.
not number 1.
No, number 100. And he's kind of a control pitcher, cut from the mold of like a Greg Maddux or something like that. So he's not going to give you the strikeout rate of a fireballer, but like the year before, in 2016, he won the ERA title. It's like a 2.16 ERA. He's on the Cubs. His overall ERA was barely above 3, but look at his second half stats. It was in the low 2s. So if he's healthy, and I think it was health that messed up the first half of last year.
Yeah.
If he's healthy, he could be that low ERA guy, the guy that gets you the wins being on the Cubs. And maybe you pick up some other guys like Hand and stuff like that. They have good strikeout rates to win you the strikeouts as well. Right. This guy gets you the wins. This guy gets you the ERA type stuff.
I like him. I like the Cubs. I think the Cubs are going to bounce back this season. So
they had that World Series hangover.
Yeah, right. Okay, now we're getting into my young guys. I got 2 really young guys here on my list. And at number 9, ranked all the way down 297. That's not even draft worthy, basically in the rankings. And that's Brent Honeywell. This guy is a young kid with the Tampa Bay Rays. And the talk is he's going to make the 40-man rotation. He's going to be in their starting rotation this season. And so listen to this guy's minor league stats. They're pretty decent. 31-19 win-loss record, 2.88 ERA, 458 strikeouts, a 1.082 WHIP, 9.9 strikeouts per 9 inning. And so that's a guy to keep an eye on. Again, you could draft him as your last pick, put him on your bench, and see what happens. Watch him in spring training. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. But there's some early talk that if this guy performs at his potential, he could be the Rookie of the Year this year.
Nice. So that's the Rays.
That's the Rays.
I've got a Rays guy right now. So 3 Rays pitchers. They must really be developing the pitchers down there.
They must be.
So I got Blake Snell on the Rays. 254 ranking on ESPN, 225 on Fantasy Pro. He had amazing minor league stats. 12 strikeouts per 9, 2 times in the minors. He had 1 year where he's really where he had like about 17 wins. I think ERA under 2, and then 12 strikeouts per 9. Last year, he kind of split time between the majors and minors. Some people gave up on him because he actually was in the majors, got sent back down. But he should be definitely in the rotation this year to tear it up. And I think the Rays, they let Evan Longoria go. Looks like they might be starting to rebuild, but they got some good defensive players. Kiermaier in center field's a Gold Glover. I think Danny Duffy will be back. He's a good defensive infielder. They got Christian Arroyo in the trade, who will be a good future infielder. So I think they'll play some good defense behind him. So, and I like what you talked about Schmarza. That could really play into the success of a pitcher. And this guy is a strikeout king.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good option. Good option with the old Rays down there.
Yeah, it's funny. Bay. Like you usually forget about the Rays just because nobody talks about them.
Who else did you have on the Rays?
I had scrolling up. Jacob Faria.
Oh, Faria. Yes. Okay, that's right. Okay, my last guy. I don't know. Do you have any more? I got one more. I got one more guy. One more. And in honor of the Yankees, I had to have one. Another young guy. He's not rated. He's actually, supposed to be called up this season. We'll see how the Yankees rotation goes. Yeah. Chance Adams is who I'm talking about. Now, the Yankees have a couple old guys in the rotation, and there's a chance that he's got an opportunity to break in. The Yankees are also looking to bring in another veteran pitcher to solidify their rotation. I know they're looking. Who knows if they're going to find one? I mean, could be Yu Darvish. Who knows? Maybe they go after Arrieta.
Yeah.
But let's listen to this guy. This guy's minor league stats. So 31-7 record, 2.33 ERA, 324 strikeouts, .990 WHIP. This is his career stats. 9.3 strikeouts per 9 inning. This guy is one of their top prospects. So if he does get called up during the year, this could be a guy that will change your pitching in your league.
Yeah.
So great opportunity there.
Yeah, even if he starts here in the minors, then gets called up, a lot of times, watching the waiver wires and grabbing a guy like this is what could put you over the hump.
Absolutely.
To be a contender in your league.
It's when you get guys like this, and I talked about this in I think in our 2015 what we learned from the draft video.
Yeah.
That I picked up Carlos Correa.
Yeah.
In like May when he got called up, and I mean he definitely solidified my offense at shortstop.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so that's our guys.
That's our pitchers.
Yeah. Be sure to tell us, if you think we suck, or if you think our picks are great, or if you think there's something we left out. Tell us down below. Hit subscribe on the channel, and Dumb Guys will be back with lots of videos.
Absolutely. Stay dumb.
Stay dumb.
Dumb Guys.